We like you, one viewer so far. Hey, check. Can you hear us okay? Give us like a bunch of hearts if you can hear us. Because we need to make sure that you can hear us, otherwise it's going to be a really crappy show. Am I right?
Yeah.
If you can't hear us talking, give us some hearts. Hook us up with some love if you can hear us. We're getting hearts? I won't continue until I get a heart. I want at least one so that I know that you hear me. Alright, we're good. Okay, so please forgive me, but I'm about to read our new intro because we're trying to formalize this and I haven't had time to memorize it. But I did write this. So, we did the check part. We're good on that?
Yes.
Good. Let's get started. So welcome to the Social Happy Hour, the weekly show during happy hour. You like this, right? Where we cover two topics from the world of social media and field questions from you, the audience, all live on Periscope for the world to see. The entire world is watching. I'm your host, Jeff Gibbard, and as always, our producer, Alyssa, is behind the camera, making sure we stay on track, and also capturing your questions to make sure that you keep those questions coming. She's writing them down. Alyssa, love you. That's not on there, but
love you too, Jeff.
I'm going off book. So remember that if you love us, the best way to show it is to fill the screen with hearts, and by tapping on your screen, that's how you give us the hearts. And please tell your screen. Tap on the screen
a lot.
And please tell your friends and professional network about this very informative and professional show.
Yes.
This episode, and the last three actually, are being broadcast live from the Gaslight in sunny Philadelphia. The Gaslight. We love us some Gaslight for a number of different reasons. We'll get into that in just 1 second. Oh, no, actually, sorry. We're going to get into that right now. We want to thank the Gaslight again for having us. We are big fans of the Gaslight. They make dynamite old fashions. We already polished off 2 orders of their delicious chip and nuggets that come with truffled aioli and barbecue sauce. One of the reasons I come here is the old fashioned, the other is the chip and nuggets. Q been rocking those East Coast oysters.
Yeah.
Were they salty?
They were fantastic.
Were they briny?
Briny and delicious.
They were briny and delicious. Came with a little bit of that mignonette. We also got puppies outside and these corn muffiny things and pretzels. Hey, let me tell you something about the food here. It's awesome. So you should definitely come to the Gaslight when you come to Philadelphia. It's right here in Old City. It's on Market Street in between Front and Second. We're huge fans. Thanks again for having us. We're going to mention them a couple times because we really do love them. So today we're going to be discussing 2 topics, Q and I. Q and I are going to be talking about 2 things. 2 things we're going to be talking about. 1, first topic is called Go Big or Go Secret. Yeah.
That's big.
Second question, we're going to be talking all about loyalty. Give them some hearts if you like these 2 topics. Hook us up. Give us a heart bomb. So today, to help me discuss these 2 topics, I brought on a fabulous guest by the name of Xavier.
Hey.
The man, the legend. Many of you have never seen his face, but what he's about to do right now is introduce himself to the viewers. Viewers, meet Q.
How you doing, guys? I'm Q. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Jeff, for inviting me. Thank you, Gaslight, for making fantastic food. Thank you, Miss Alyssa, for being gorgeous and behind the proverbial camera lens, as it were, making things happen. And, it's just great to be here. It's great to be asked questions.
It is great to be asked questions.
You know what? Anytime I get a chance to have a conversation with this dude right here, it's a good time.
I like what we do. You know, I coming up with a topic for us to talk about, or 2 topics that is, was extremely difficult because you and I could sit and wax poetic on all manner of different things.
I appreciate your use of the words wax and poetic together.
Yeah,
in a sentence.
They go nicely together.
They're beautiful.
So my thought is that, you and I have had conversations about everything from sentient computers to...
It's a new show called Humans that's really about that.
Really?
Yeah, it's a really great show. It's on AMC. I love it. I haven't finished the show, so don't spoil it for me. But I heard that I've heard a couple of spoilers, but it's a great build-up.
I dig it. So we've gone everywhere from that to social business and content marketing, all the way to macronutrients and how it impacts your fitness regimen.
Indeed,
lots of things. It's a thing.
Fitness.
But today I want to talk to you about something that I find absolutely fascinating as a conversation between you and I.
Yes.
Mainly because we sit on 2 opposite sides of the same issue.
Indeed. Oh,
We love Brittany. Thank you.
Miss Brittany, thank you so much.
Anything for you guys. May Lily says we need to market better.
We need to market better. We probably do. But we will. We're getting on that, and we'll also take your suggestions. So if you have any, be sure to just throw them in the little comment box, and we will definitely consider all of your suggestions. We do a lot of different shows, and we do a lot of different things. We have True Voice Media TV. We've got arguments. We got a bunch of different stuff. So yeah, we're spread a little bit thin, but we do have to probably pay more attention to this. You are correct. But one of the best ways...
Then you're just doing things.
We're just doing things.
You're publishing.
But here's the thing. One of the best ways for us to market, if I could be so bold, is for all of the people that tune in to tell their friends. If you enjoy this show, tell people you know, because word of mouth is among one of the most trusted sources of information across all demographic groups from what I've read on the interwebs.
It's on the news. It's in the Newsweek.
It is. I read that in USA Today.
I did. I read it in highlights.
Yes.
When I was
highlights when you were coloring and circling.
It said word of mouth.
Yeah. I read that.
I feel like. Go ahead.
So, go big or go secret is topic one of the day.
Yes, please.
Here's why we're talking about this. You already know, but I'm going to tell you why we're talking about go big or go secret and what I even mean by that. So when you, and this goes back to marketing, person who just contributed that, whose name I can't remember at the time. May Lily. This goes back to marketing. Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's a fantastic name.
Going back to marketing as an idea, there are many different ways you can market. There's no one single way. And one of the ways that I choose to market is I go fairly big. I like to put out a lot of content. I like to put my face on video. I like to get up on stage and say, "Hi, I'm Jeff Gibbard," and show myself to the world. Now, even though Q is not an introvert per se, and he is not afraid of getting on stage or having conversations in public or showing his face and such, his method of marketing is much more subversive. It's much more about keeping things a secret. Now, I have the big public sort of marketing approach, but every once in a while I'll utilize a little bit more of a secret VIP community-based sort of situation. But Q has really mastered the art in many ways of doing the subversive secret sort of thing. So I want to talk about the benefits of each side of it, and I think the place where I'd love to start about this is, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you've gone about, back up.
Yeah.
Because we've known each other now for 4 or 5 years. Yeah, I'm backing up before I even get there.
I was going to say, we didn't even leave the parking lot.
We did.
Up.
But you and I have known each other a little while, and I know that around the time that we met, just prior to that, you were almost a completely different approach to things. You used to be out there in the public eye, and since then you've kind of intentionally pulled yourself back and changed the entire approach to marketing.
Yes.
Why?
Oh goodness. You're supposed to give me questions like this beforehand, so that way I can
No. This is live. This is real time. This is the whole point of Periscope.
So.
Producer's telling us we need to snuggle.
Yes, it's getting very close. Honestly, I enjoy public speaking. I enjoy doing all of this work. But when I found that after doing that kind of work for a great deal of time, I enjoyed my privacy more. And I enjoyed the fact that when somebody said hi to me on the street, I could actually have a conversation with them because I knew them. And not because we had a really good exchange on a Facebook reel in a Facebook comment log with 100 people, but because I actually knew them. So when I'm walking down the street and people say hi, like, it's actually people that I know. It might be more people, it might be a lot of people, but it's people that I actually know and have conversations with. Whereas before, when I was doing kind of the gregarious, kind of being out there all the time and making sure that people kind of saw the project that I was working on and being the spokesperson and that stuff, you kind of lose that, and you get random folks just being, "Hey, what's up?" And you're like, "Oh, hey, man." Dave Chappelle has a great joke where he's like, "Man, I'm hanging out with my kids," and he's like, "I'm Rick James." He's like, "I got my kids here." Like, I can't have you doing that. So that's kind of like the personal reason, and then from a grand, like, Mr. Mastermind kind of way, I really wanted to know. Everybody always talks about having, when you're working with clients, they always say, "We want to be like the best kept secret." No, they don't, because they really don't want to be the best kept secret. They want to be Walmart, but nobody knows about Walmart. In order for Walmart to be a super center, it has to be a super center. It's going to shut things down. So you can't be the clandestine speakeasy if you're trying to shut shit down, and you're trying to do something like, if you're trying to shut people down or do different things. If you're trying to be, and your plan has to be way longer, like incredibly long. So I wanted to see that work, and I wanted to enjoy the fact that, you know, I have a core audience, and, you know, I give a shit about the people that I work with. Not that, you know, people don't give a shit about who they work with, but, you know, people tell me constantly that they value, you can tell me that you value the time that we're able to talk because it's not shared indiscriminately.
All right, so I got 2 points on this.
Yeah, man, go for it.
The first is, we titled the segment Go Big or Go Secret,
Yeah.
as if there's two polar opposites. Mm-hmm. But in you talking about it, I realized that there is a middle ground that you could explore, but you've chosen to go, you've rotated to the far point where you want it to be best kept secret.
Yeah.
So you haven't gone to that middle ground. So part of it, what you said, was that you want to be able to have conversations with people you actually knew.
Well, I'm here doing
meaningful.
the middle ground, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of pulled you by your ear over this, but I was like, come on, show the people your face. But I think there's this middle ground where, like, yeah, you could still use Facebook and you can use Twitter. You could have a private Twitter account and only let in a certain number of people.
Yes.
You could have a Facebook account and only connect with 30 or 40 people.
Correct.
You could have a Tumblr blog and make it private. You could have an Instagram that's private. And select who you let pass the velvet rope. You haven't done that. Most of the time, what I've found is that, you know, you tend to do it public just on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
So why have you chosen to do that? That's the first point. And the second point is the conversations that we've had that revolve around, I guess, the intensity of the conversations you and I have and the attention that you pay to things. I think that that's a wonderful side of your marketing persona, your personal persona. But do you think that by going big, you can't have that? Or do you think it's just a deliberate decision you've chosen to go this direction?
First, it is a deliberate decision I chose to go the direction. When breaking free, when going kind of off the reservation, as it were, and doing things a little bit different, and not going for winning the popularity contest, but winning the value contest and winning the quality contest, if you will. If those are things that are actually contests, I don't know.
They are. I read about it on Mastodon.
Okay. Because I love Mastodon. That's fantastic. But when going for those things, it's really a matter of the time-honored tradition. I listen to comics. I love comics, as you know. Like, Patrice O'Neill's one of my all-time favorite comics, period. And one of the things they always say is that the fans you want are not the fans you get. But the beautiful part, when you go big, that's true. And every rule about business is true. When you go secret, and I don't even know if I like the word secret, I just like the word...
Small and intimate?
Yeah, think more like in Philadelphia, so we're at Gaslight right now, and at these tables, these are intimate tables, and there's tables that are out front that are, you know, everybody can see you. Yep. But if you're only trying to connect with somebody, you want something more one-on-one. Or you want something that's just like a couple of friends or a couple of close people where you can have a power and you can say what you mean to say. You don't have to cloak it in code, you don't have to do anything. So when having those kind of conversations with clients, usually you're plucking them from a conference into a smaller event. You're taking them from big to secret. Well, I just go ahead and say, well, why go from big to secret? Why not just start secret? And just make it so that when people come to you, they already have the recommendation, they already have the reference, they already have all that stuff. And then that way, when you start speaking, you have that established credibility that you quote always wanted. Did that answer your question?
It did, but it leads directly into the question we just got from our viewers, which is, do you think that you sacrifice potential customers by limiting potential,
totally.
by limiting exposure?
Completely.
So that's worth it, I suppose.
I mean, everybody loves Tim Ferriss' 4-Hour Workweek, right? As soon as he started outsourcing his business, automating his process, things of that nature, his clients fell off. And everybody's like, he lost clients. Everybody talks about when you finally are able to do what you want. I want to be able to fire my clients. What if you never had to fire a client? What if the clients that you got were approved by your audience for you to work with? So that way, you don't have to ever deal with, this is not going to work. You don't have to have the ugly baby conversation.
Nobody likes the ugly baby conversation.
Nobody likes the ugly baby conversation.
Speaking of which, have you ever had to actually have an ugly baby conversation?
Like an actual,
that baby is absolutely ugly?
Had to, or had
I feel like somebody has an ugly baby is probably not going to force the issue. They're probably like, our baby's kind of ugly. Or do you think that doesn't exist? We're off topic here. I think
every baby's beautiful.
Every baby is beautiful. Every baby is beautiful. So, Okay, we're going to come back to that. We're going to come back to the ugly baby conversation, and we're going to come back to the bigger secret, the small and intimate versus the going big. What I want to do right now is just pause real quick and give just a quick shout out to the Gaslight again for hosting us. They've been checking in on us as we've been doing our thing, bringing us drinks. I got one chip and nugget left. I'm totally going to eat it. And, we just want to thank you again.
On my beverage.
They did put fruit on your beverage. They don't know you yet, but they know that me, I like my old fashioned.
So let's look at it this way. Most things that are, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, it's all good. We got a couple more minutes. We can talk about this. But the next thing is gonna blend right to it, and then we can tie it all together. So we got a few more minutes to talk about. So give me your point. Hook me up.
I was just gonna. So one of my favorite astrophysicists is Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
Up until the past 10 years, nobody knew that he existed, but he's been quietly toiling away, and not so quietly actually. He's been, disproving, downgrading Pluto from its planetary status, making appearances.
Is that him?
Yeah, that's
he was the one that did that. I never knew
he was a part of the team that did that. Yes, he wrote a book on it called the Pluto Files. I believe it's called the Pluto Files. Correct me if I'm wrong, Internet. I apologize.
Internets, if he's wrong on that, I'm making him take a shot. So
they're just gonna say I'm wrong.
Yeah. Well, no, but you gotta actually check it out. Oh my God, you're teasing us right now. I feel like you're teasing us.
I'm concerned for your protein.
Thank you so much.
These are dry roasted curried nuts. And
dry roasted curried nuts. Awesome. Thank you.
So,
you guys are so spoiled.
Love it.
So when looking at if you're looking at the conversation of, I feel like everything starts in secret and then people go big, and I just am sitting here going, well, what if somebody stayed small? They weren't concerned with being the biggest, the baddest on the planet. They weren't concerned with necessarily doing that. They were just concerned with being that epicenter of being the best at their craft.
So what you're saying is essentially be valuable enough, be awesome enough, and the word of mouth will kind of take care of it.
Yes and no.
I mean, obviously you can't throw your hopes and dreams up to hopefully people will talk about us. Like all of you that should be talking about us to all of your friends and giving us tons of hearts. Sorry.
Well, the fact that they're here right now is proof positive that when you
appreciate it.
You can keep things intimate and actually get good feedback.
Yeah.
And that's what you're always looking for. Like people are, you're hiring a team.
If there were a million people on there, we couldn't address anybody.
No. Well, you're constantly sifting through all of the information, all of the feedback, all of the data, rather than just saying I have these 10, these 20 people, and each one of their opinions is valuable because they either I met them directly or they were brought to me vetted already. It's like, just imagine if you didn't have to vet your clients; they were already done for you. If you didn't have to vet potential people that you were going to invest in,
I'm gonna pull Mitch Joel on you.
And that's my whole thing. Is like. And you know me, my whole thing is I don't really care. I'm not really hyper concerned about investing in the corporation so much, which is fine. But I invest the people in the corporation.
Got it.
People are the investors.
I'm with that too. But I'm gonna give you a little Mitch Joel. I'm gonna push back on you.
Yeah, sure.
I'm just gonna push back on that a little bit. That all sounds great, and while I agree with it once you're a little bit established, what about those new companies that are just starting out and they don't have that word of mouth? They don't have that going. And then I got another question here from the audience. I promise I'll get to this in 1 second. But what do you think about that? Like, how do you start out small, stay small, but still grow? I don't know if that's even close to. So I'm going to give you the question here because it's similar. But people go big to meet demand. How can you stay small in a growing company? Isn't growth the goal? So I guess the point is, how do you scale staying small? How can you even scale that? And at a certain point, isn't that big?
Do you want to have this conversation?
Yeah, I want to have this conversation right now.
Okay.
I'm not even worried about the format or the structure or the time. Let's just do this. Let's just dig in.
People spend so much time worrying about scale, they don't actually give a shit about their product or their service they're delivering.
I'm agree with that, absolutely.
People spend so much time trying to grow and grow for growth's sake that they don't actually look what that growth means. And the big red cape in the room is Netflix. The fact that you can go at any time. They're huge. They didn't necessarily, and they didn't go big by keeping it a secret at all. But at the same time, so this is kind of training into another thought. But it's this idea that just because it's the way it's been done, and just because it's the way you've been taught for it to be done, does not mean it's the way it should be or could be or that would be advantageous for you and your company. But because we're so hell-bent on growing and so hell-bent on scaling, we don't take the appropriate steps to actually see whether or not what we do is valuable and what we do is a quality product or service, and provide that to people and publish it, polish it, publish it again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, let's play with this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got a small team, small crew, you got a great product.
Yeah.
Let's assume that everything is awesome.
Yes.
And it's going so well in your tiny, tight community that it grows organically.
Yes.
You provide a great experience. More people come in. So now you've got to bring on more people to keep that same one-to-one relationship and that same closeness and intimacy. And as you grow and you grow and you grow and you grow and you grow, you're not able to actually achieve the economies of scale that come with going a little bit bigger and outsourcing some of your processes or doing those sort of things, which is one thing. But is there then, is going this approach limiting the upper level of growth? Because at a certain point, like, let's say you make $100 and you have to outsource 80 of it. You keep doing that, bringing on new people and everything. Eventually, there's only so big you can really scale nickel and diming and going through that small thing.
Yeah, I mean, usually most people, and the truth of the matter is this. The reason why most people decide to go big is because they're getting investment. And when you're getting investment, your goal is to go public or be sold.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, you have to scale, go as big as possible, secure as much talent as possible in case your idea doesn't go big, and you can still offset whatever money you lost by, dispatching, recruiting, selecting an executive search fee for that talent that you have, and you're valuable that way, or invaluable for having great talent. Or you find a myriad of other ways to be valuable. And what I'm saying is that it's kind of one of those things where it's kind of saying an about face of that and saying, I actually want to have the companies that I build for the life that I want to lead.
Okay.
And I want to build, and I do. And there's a lot of people who want to build companies that are successful, that do well, but don't necessarily abide in the idea of just like growing for growth's sake or scaling for scale's sake.
Well, let's do a quick 180 on it, and I'm going to get to May Lily's question in a second.
She's asking you questions.
Love you, May Lily. So let me do the 180 on it, though, because I want to talk real quick about, because we just got into scaling a company and operations and all that side of go big, go small. Let's
And you can be secret. By the way, Google releases invitation-only projects. Companies release invitation-only. Look at OnePlus and their mobile phone. Okay, they're like hiding in plain sight. You see them, you hear about the buzz, you hear about the phone.
Zombie Corp.
Yeah, Zombie Corp. Another one. They're behind Devour. They're behind all these companies, and you never know who's behind that.
Okay.
So there's tons of companies who are wildly successful, and have products that are wildly public and that are scalable, but they themselves, the company, are very secret. I always joke around with people. I'm like, okay, so you know the CEO of Apple, right? Right?
I know who.
Of course. I mean,
we're not friends.
We should be.
Tim, if you'd like to be friends.
Me and Tim.
I would love to know.
Last night
we hang out in Silicon Valley. Cupertino.
But no, so people know who the CEO of Apple is, but not a lot of people know who the CEO of Red Bull is, and they have arguably one of the most insane marketing programs ever.
That's true.
And it's just, and people would rather talk about, they just started talking about the past 3 years, I feel like. A lot of people started talking about Red Bull more. Mm-hmm. But I feel like there's...
Social media marketing, they went big though.
They went big, but in a niche that made it so that nobody was paying attention. And that's kind of like the halfway house we were talking about, of hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the idea of like, I'm going to go big, but I'm not going to push it on you. It's going to meet you where you are. I'm selling an extreme lifestyle through an energy drink. I'm selling adventure and excitement through an energy drink. But adventure and excitement doesn't happen in an energy drink. It happens in the silos that nobody else is paying attention to, like jumping out of an hot air balloon from sub-atmospheric heights.
That was crazy.
That was insane.
All right, well, I want to take May Lily's question, which is, what do you do? I'll let you go first on it, and then I'll do mine. The funny part about this, May Lily, I absolutely love that you asked that question. I've known Q for like 4 or 5 years now, something like that, and I only just discovered what Q does. It's amazing. So many people asking the question, and we've been working on this. Q, let's hear it. What do you do? Let's hear what we've been working on. Let's do this.
What I do is in 3 parts. The first thing that I do quite well is research. I'm a research nut. So I spend most of my time researching. Is this what you're looking for?
Yeah, this is fantastic.
Okay, beautiful. I'm just making sure that I'm answering your question properly. It may literally let me know if I'm not answering the question that you're asking. So we have to get very close. I apologize.
Tell me more.
Oh my goodness. All right, so research. So starting at 3, research. I spend most of my time researching, analyzing data, finding information, data points and things of that nature that prove to be valuable for myself, my clients, or for anybody in general. Humanity as a whole. And then just things that interest me, which tends to be a lot. I'm interested by a ton of things. Number 2, moving back in, I connect disparate pieces of information and data and make them into a very, very salient one point, or I expand them as complex as possible so I can find other disparate connections that otherwise wouldn't be available to me.
Or simply put,
strategy.
There we go, strategy.
Number 3, oration. This is it right here. I spend a great deal of my time in front of people, in front of crowds of people, and organizing them, getting them to see things from a different perspective, understanding how those dynamics work in a crowd, in mass, understanding how they work one-on-one, and doing it that way. Where has that led me in my life? I've had a multitude of careers, jobs, and we can spend more time than we have here. Feel free to hit me up on Twitter. Feel free to hit me up on Instagram. Feel free to hit me up anywhere that I am and ask me any questions specifically about all the things that I've done.
Just type Q Xavier into Google, and there it is.
I'm everywhere.
So, May Lily, I know you're probably asking Q what he does and not me, but I'm going to tell you what I do anyway, because why the hell not?
He has a simpler.
May Lily says she wants to know what company you work for. She's from Philly and works down the street from where we are now.
Oh, look at that. So, Q, you just work...
I work for myself.
There we go.
Yeah.
So,
any project that I build, any company that I build, I either am a partner in or I work as a consultant for, as an advisor for, or I am the one right now heading up. So right now we're in the middle of super secret. We're not talking about it.
Yeah. I'll give you my long and short what I do. I'm the president and chief strategist of True Voice Media. We're a social business agency. I'm a strategist. That's the main thing that I do. I'm also a blogger, a podcaster, now apparently a periscoper, or it might be pronounced periscope. I'm not sure.
No.
I'm not sure.
No.
It's a silent J. I think it's yogging. I'm also writing a book. I'm a fitness enthusiast.
Are you now?
No, I'm not.
You now?
I hate
That's
it.
amazing.
I hate
I like
things.
that. All right, man. Cool.
Hey, it's
I'll see you
cool.
tomorrow morning. It's gonna be a good time.
It's gonna be like,
What do we do? Squats today? Is that with the SK now?
That is
the
what it is.
W.
So
that's the thing.
So that's what I do. Bunch of other stuff on the side projects. That's what I do. So let's move into our next topic, which is a beautiful segue from our previous topic. So we just talked about going big or going secret. Do you go out of the gate and tell as many people about it as possible? Do you help them find their way to you through word of mouth and being kind of a secret society, Illuminati type thing?
Find the people that you want to work with, and then give them the product or service that you have. And then from there, continue iterating and continue delivering that until they say, that's not what I want, or I want more of that. And then do it over and over again, and then allow yourself to build. You don't have to press it out there unless you have an investor. If you have an investor behind you, you got to. You've already signed your deal. It's done.
You jumped in front of the topic.
I'm sorry.
That's all good.
I apologize.
No, you're going to say all that again.
Okay.
The next topic we're going to talk about is the underlying foundations of loyalty. Why are people loyal? Why do they keep coming back? Q, here's what I want you to do. Here's the first question for you. Why do people love you so much? Why do people just keep coming back for more Q?
If I were to answer that question, it would lead into an extreme amount of arrogance that I don't know that I actually possess.
Yeah. It would sort of be like a black hole would open up right here and like the entire world would be.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you why people love me.
Tell me why people love you, Jeff.
It's this charming smile.
You're fantastic.
I know, right? I think, so, screw that, I'm just kidding. Here's what, let's talk about loyalty. Why do people come back to a business? So why do I use Apple products? Why do you not use Apple products? That's a whole nother podcast. It's actually a lost episode.
Yeah.
I still have that on my computer.
It's quite, the Apple conversation is actually quite simple now. It's just a matter of, I like to expose myself to as many pieces of technology as possible. I don't limit myself to being loyal to a brand. I'm more loyal to technology.
Fair. So loyalty though. Why do people come back? So I think this starts out with loyalty programs, or traditionally understood loyalty programs. And what they typically are bribes. They say, if you come back to my establishment 3 times, I will give you 10% off of your check, or I will give you a free tchotchke. Or if you come back 10 times or order 5 times, I'll give you a free widget. Whatever it is. That is typically what people see as loyalty. Can you buy loyalty?
Ooh.
See what I did there?
Scarface, no. Scarface answered that question for us. Sorry, this question's a lot more nuanced than just a name.
Then get into the nuance, man.
So then let's dig a little deeper, right?
Let's get deeper.
They like that you use Yiddish.
I use Yiddish. Did you use Yiddish?
So, I say a lot of things.
You're an orator.
I speak the truth, so I don't have to remember everything. Or I speak what's true to me. So, when I look at loyalty, I think, so everybody loves Gary Vaynerchuk, everybody loves watching Zappos, and everybody loves the conversation of like, I didn't give him 10% off for one case, I gave him a St. Louis Rams jersey. And they're like, all of a sudden everybody starts going buying jerseys for people. And Zappos, I got them, the mother died, and I sent a bouquet of flowers, and I returned this and things of that nature, and I gave my employees autonomy to do that. And when you talk about loyalty, people have loyalty to an experience they had generally with a person that is attached to a brand, and they ascribe that brand experience, they ascribe that personal experience to the brand. When actually it's a person, or it's a group of people, or it's a way in which they cultivate those people. And so when you start looking at the underpinnings of loyalty, my favorite phrase is, of course, give a shit. I'm always about giving a shit, like really, like care. And my sense is that you can tell when somebody's genuinely caring. Even it's like that part in Hitch where like Will Smith is trying so hard with and this isn't real, but it's the part that you can relate to, right? Eva Longoria, right? Is that who it was?
I think that's who it was.
That's who it was? Okay, let's say Eva Longoria.
If he's wrong, he's taking a shot.
You just want me to
I know, man.
So what's happening is fail in the most splendid and beautiful ways that allow for the customer or your client to feel like a person that you care about. That's loyalty. Loyalty is when you extend yourself beyond what is the expectation. And the expectation is, I hired you to build a social media strategy. And by the way, here's how it interfaces with your entire marketing program and actually builds your sales channel. Right? Because being social is not just the technology, it's an ethos of how your company runs. Much like giving a shit is like not just something you say to your customer service reps or to your client service or customer success, client service, and things of that nature. It's actually something that has to transmit throughout the organization. Otherwise, you end up with open letters on the internet and people saying yes, that's true, and other people saying no, that's not. We all know who we're talking about, but I'm not going to mention it because I love using their service for 2-day shit. Anyway, so.
Question.
Yes.
Side note.
Yes.
Do you think it would go over well if the first page of our strategies from henceforth said, give a shit? Ponder. But let's go back to loyalty.
No, I love it. I personally
I think it would be awesome to just put that in a strategy. I've never done it, but I feel like I should.
There's an advertising and marketing.
That spells gas.
What?
Gas.
Yeah. Gas is also fuel for a car. Gas is also a type of... That's a California and Colorado conversation.
Loyalty. So, my assessment is that loyalty is not something that you can buy from a customer with gifts and tchotchkes. I think to your point, it comes from an authentic, it's from the heart. It's when you actually care enough about your customer to do the right thing. But I think the problem with that, and this is the problem with everything that happens, is when you hear a story about a company that did a certain something, like the Gary Vaynerchuk example is great. So you said Gary Vaynerchuk didn't send a case of wine, sent a football jersey, and then everybody goes out and starts buying jerseys and doing that. that's no longer somebody authentically caring about their customer doing that, but instead mimicking a tactic. And I think this is part of the problem with a lot of these loyalty programs is they go on the internet and they read case studies and those things and think we'll just implement these things instead of doing the actual work to look into creating experiences that can't be replicated. Or even if they could be replicated, can't be replicated in the exact way from the playbook.
Here's the thing. I don't really care if what I do gets replicated, as long as when they look back at patient zero, I'm in. When we talk about the football jerseys, Gary Vaynerchuk. When we talk about flowers being sent, exactly. That's the customer service rep at Zappos.
I'm sure somebody else sent a football jersey, just didn't get the boom because he goes big. See what I did there?
Zappos issues, but they sent a set of flowers to a customer where I believe it was the parents died. And they were not able to deliver them, so they said they need to be returned, and then they sent a set of flowers as condolences. The customer service rep. So that's not necessarily Zappos so much as a person. And that's what I always get to is like, so like the idea is that we're constantly looking for a tip, trick, or tactic. We're all constantly looking for a shortcut. We're constantly looking for, well, what did the other person do that was so successful? I can mimic that because I care. But if you actually cared, you would be asking your customers.
So it's sort of like the strategy is just give a shit. And the tactic could be whatever it is that shows that you give a shit.
Yeah. It's not, if they're a football fan, then yeah, sure, it's a football jersey. But if they happen to like Battlestar Galactica, great show. If they happen to like Humans, awesome show. If they happen to like, I don't know, Nike trainers, then why don't you... And if they're talking about it on the phone with you, like I was actually on the phone with an individual and he was talking to me about suits for like with a company that I was talking to, and he was talking about suits. Even though everything was going wrong, if you want to know anything about me, you can always tell me about a great tailor in a great city, and I will be interested. Done, hands down, period. Don't let the t-shirt and shorts fool you. Brother can dress. So look.
You can.
Thank you, man.
I saw that Instagram post.
Hey, I do what I can.
It's good.
I show up on occasion. So, but at the end of the day, if you don't care, your customers are going to feel it. And if you're doing something for the masses that somebody else has done, that will work for the group that you're looking for. You'll get the point you're looking for, but you won't get the kind of brand loyalty or the kind of that kind of big L loyalty that you're looking for, where you can do a big mess up, and you can do a couple of big mess ups, and people are still sitting there going, okay, but it's still good. Like back in the day, Guy Kawasaki, Apple, touring around, doing the product evangelist piece, engendering trust, talking to people about the product versus other products, building up that, like genuinely giving a shit, genuinely drinking the Kool-Aid about we're going to be better than everybody else no matter what, and literally delivering on the fact that they're making the effort to be better than everybody else. And at the time, they really had a better product than everybody else, which you can argue that with Linux and everything else all up and down, and back in the day with VEOS or VOS, however you want to pronounce it, but they had a better product. And so when they were like having those big rallies about that and having those conversations, it made a lot of sense. Today, they're not necessarily able to have that same conversation, so they're living off of that old loyalty. And I use them just because I have a Samsung on the table and we have an Apple. So, and not that I'm loyal to them at all. It's technology, and it does what it's supposed to do. I really want to get that OnePlus. When it comes to being secret and subversive and doing it in plain sight, they got that bad boy down. They have some people angry with them over imitation. That's super and secretive on a whole nother level.
We'll come back to that in a moment.
Yeah.
I want to talk real quick about something that I think in this loyalty conversation, which is, if you can't buy loyalty,
yes,
and one of the secrets to loyalty is giving a shit, I think one of the key ways that you can ruin that, and the way you can differentiate between when something is authentically, a brand or a person is authentically giving a shit versus when they're using it as a tactic, is the action immediately followed up with a sales conversation?
Ooh.
You know what I mean? So like, we sent flowers to the bereaved, and by the way, we have these cross trainers on sale. Like, that's how you take an authentic gesture that could keep a customer for life, and you turn it into I get what you're up to here. So I think it's not just giving a shit, but it's also selflessly giving a shit.
But that's also a very East Coast thing, right? Like, we're always waiting for them. Like, if somebody's nice to us, we're always, what do you want? What are you selling something? What are you selling? What's going on?
I've had problems in, like, I've gone to other places in the country, even, other places in the world, and, like, somebody will come up and just make a nice gesture, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So,
what's the sales? What are you
selling? What's happening next? You need money? You want something? What do you want? Nothing?
Everybody
giving me a flower? Who just gives somebody a flower? Who just hands a flower?
You have a sign that says "Hug me." How much that hug gonna cost?
Yeah, how much that?
What do I have to do? Like, what do I have to fill out something? This timeshare ain't free.
No.
I can't have to sit through your presentation.
100%.
Exactly.
Is this about a timeshare?
Yeah. So you're talking about dealing with environmental conditioning that makes us wary of the fact that there are genuine individuals running and working in and leading and starting companies, and they're literally trying to do something. They're trying to do something where they show that they give a shit. So you have to surmount that obstacle to begin with. And when you start talking about customer success, customer loyalty, customer experience, user experience, all the rest of these things, user experience, gender equality, okay, great. But when you start talking about all of these things, as the more I see it, the more things go forward, the more things move, and the more things potentially grow as your company does, because you're going to go from 5 clients to 20 clients, and then you might cap it. It really comes down to, as you build your company out, are you engendering that care relationship? And are you showing it throughout your company? I constantly say, we're having our offline conversations. I don't know. It's not offline conversations. It's conversations over drinks like these, which is literally, if you want to know why you have no brand loyalty, it's because you have no loyalty to your employees. It's because your corporate culture does not engender loyalty. And if it did, it would be your brand loyalty is a byproduct.
Yeah, if your people are out there championing for your brand, it's a pretty big sign to everybody else outside of it.
And not that, we have to be excited, and they go back and be like, man, I hate working there. It's terrible. Like, no, like, they drank the Kool-Aid, they're like, man, we're going places, we're doing things. Like, they no longer refer to the company or our company, they refer to their company.
Yeah,
this is my company. This is what we're doing.
Yep.
This is how I'm working. This is how I contribute. This is everything. And people need that structure so they can create that kind of incredibly beautiful, loyal spontaneity that people love to talk about.
Dig it. So we're going to pause real quick, and we're just going to give one more shout out to the Gaslight for hosting us today. We really appreciate them sending out some snacks for us. We got these delicious pretzels. Love it. They sent us out some of these curried nuts. These nuts are delicious. The chicken nuggets are amazing. The cornbread, what are these called?
Cornbread popovers.
Popovers,
with
amazing.
garlic,
So loving that they sent out great drinks, great foods. Thanks for having us as always, Gaslight. You guys are top notch. But just I want to get into our sort of, we're going to ride this thing out. We're going to tie everything together. And right now we're doing the segment that we call Social Shots.
Does anybody actually like this? Are we getting hearts? Or
yeah, can we get some, like at this point, if you're paying
questions?
Attention, give us hearts. If not, whatever. It's no big deal. We love you anyway. But this is the part of the show where if you give us some questions, you want to ask some things and we can't answer, we'll take shots on your behalf. Otherwise, we're going to just wrap up this conversation, tie it up in a nice little tiny bow, and be on our way. Finish out with a couple more drinks and be done for the night. But here's the outro. Here's where I want to kind of tie it together. We talked about being secretive or versus being big in your marketing and how you go big and kind of talk to everybody or really focus on talking on a small group. And then we talked about loyalty. I think that there's a part of loyalty that comes from people feeling special. So this give a shit concept, this making your employees love it. I think it's this idea of making people feel special and letting them into this exclusive kind of community where these two conversations kind of meet. And I think that's one of the things you've been able to capitalize in your business is this idea that you have this small and intimate community, but it's difficult to get into it. And I think that's what allows people to feel like they're part of something special because it took a while to get there. Now, granted, I'm not about to promote Hell Week and fraternity culture, but I will say this as a former frat boy, yeah, that's right, I was, that Hell Week, the whole thing of it and going through that struggle together with other people and then eventually having it end and having gone through something with people, it really gives you a sense of community and brotherhood in it, which, again, not trying to like say hazing is a good thing, I'm just saying it's similar to the military or any other situation where you have to go through something together, but it's exclusive and it takes something to get into it. I think that's one of the ways in which you can engender loyalty. Thoughts?
Short answer, yes. The difficult task derives the result. You want to make. So it's always two sides of the coin. Either you make things extraordinarily easy, so you make the idea of getting to your brand, getting to your product, getting to it, whatever it is. Like for instance, I'm like, if you want to get in touch with me, here's how to get in touch with me. Extraordinarily easy. Now getting to like Miss May Lily said, like what I do and what I'm actually working on. well, that's a conversation.
Yeah.
And that requires a little bit of investment on my end, and that requires investment on your end, because we're like, when we have that conversation, things are going to occur, and we're going to see how not only am I valuable to you, but how you as a customer are valuable to the whole to what's going on. Does that make sense?
It does. All right, so check it, ladies and gentlemen. Just been informed that we're at 10% battery, because our awesomeness is too much for the iPhone to contain. So before we lose you midstream, we're going to wrap this little jammy jam up. We're about to go on to the rest of our evening, but before we go, I just want to give a couple thanks. The first thanks I want to give is to our producer, Alyssa, who is killing it behind the scenes, as always, making sure everything's happening. I want to give a shout out to Brittany, who took good care of us. Love you, babe. Mwah! I want to give thanks to the Gaslight for everything that they do to help support this show and everything. Great food, great drinks. I want to thank you, our fans, and for all of you out there watching on the replay. We thank you for tuning in on the replay. These will be available on YouTube. You can always check out our show and previous episodes on thesocialhappyhour.com. And if you would, just give us some hearts from me and Q Xavier. If you're still paying attention, no, it's for this guy. If you're still there and you still love us, give us some hearts. It helps other people find out about us. Otherwise, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your mama. And please come back next week. Tell your mama. Come back next week.
You know what?
For
if
more
you got
of
some
these
time,
nuts.
call your mom.
Call your mom. She
call
worries.
your mom. She
She
really
worries.
is worried about you.
Really worries.
Just call her. I know you called her yesterday. Call her again today. She would love to hear from you.
We love you. Thank you so much for watching. Q Xavier. Love you, man.
I'm also talking, man.
Across the road.
I don't know if I answered.